family, this is Cooking with Michael. I have my aunt here with me, Venetria, to show us how to make her famous gumbo. I posted a picture on Facebook a couple of days ago, and you guys went crazy. People inboxed me for this recipe. I honestly couldn't give you the recipe because I don't have it. So I asked my aunt would she come on with me today so she can show us how to make this gumbo. So she was nice enough to let us into her secret recipe. So we're gonna just tell you what we're gonna be needing. Hey family, so I wanted to show you what we're gonna be needing for our gumbo today. We have 20 drumsticks, and they're already pre-seasoned to your own taste. And we have two bags of large shrimp, which is a count of 26 to 30 in a package. So that's what we're using, and that's already pre-seasoned as well. We have 2.5 pounds of smoked sausage. We're using Zumos today, but you can use any smoked sausage of your choice, and that's going to be just with no fillers. And we have 2 packages of Andouille sausages, and it's 16 ounces. So we're using 2 packages of that. We're going to be using 20 cloves of garlic already minced up. We have 3 large bell pepper, and these are 2 large onions and 6 stalks of celery already chopped up. And then we're going to be showing you what seasoning we're going to be using to actually give that gumbo that great flavor. So this is going to be your chicken bouillon, and you can either use the cubes or you can use the jar. And this is going to be your black pepper, your parsley flakes, your crushed red pepper, cayenne pepper, garlic powder, and Tony Chachere's. And if you don't have a Tony Chachere's, Tony Chachere's is a pretty popular brand, but I think you can use any Cajun season they do. So we actually have our water on to boil, 4 quarts of water, and my aunt's going to tell us why we have that on to boil here.
Okay, so the water is boiling, and I use a Jar of Roux because this is a quick and easy gumbo opposed to making it from scratch. However, the water is boiling. Put the roux in boiling water so that it can melt quickly. Stirring constantly so that it does not stick to the bottom of your pot.
So yes, we're going to be using the roux in this gumbo, and that's because we just want to make it a foolproof gumbo. Anybody can make this gumbo, beginner cooks, people who really don't even cook that much. This is one of the easiest things that you're going to be able to make here on this channel. I know the etouffee was pretty easy, but this is probably going to be easier because you're really just boiling your actual ingredients. So we're going to come on back and we're going to see how that roux is looking when it's already all dissolved and you're ready to start adding your other ingredients. So give us a minute and we'll be right back with you.
So I've added my Jar of Roux to my boiling water, and right now I'm stirring it so that it doesn't stick because it has to melt completely. And that's the best thing I can tell you right now. We're just stirring.
We're just stirring our roux. So we're
stirring the roux as it melts into the boiling water so that it can completely dissolve. Other than that, it'll get stuck to the bottom of your pot and burn.
Okay, so we'll be back and we will show you how it looks before we start adding our vegetables in there.
Okay, so right now the roux is basically dissolved in the boiling water, and now we're ready to add our chicken. I pre-season my chicken because that's a lot of water, and you don't want bland chicken.
So it's good to go ahead and season your chicken first. So you won't have to worry about seasoning all that water.
Correct.
Okay.
There's less seasoning you have to add upon completion.
And remember, guys, we're going to add the seasoning that you're going to be using for the water in the description box, because you are going to add more seasoning. But as far as your chicken goes and your shrimp goes, all that should be seasoned to your own preference.
All right, so at this point, I will begin to add my vegetables. Your vegetables and your chicken are the first things that go into your gumbo. And that's what we're doing. All right, so you keep your fire on a medium high. After you've added your chicken, it decreases the temperature of your water. So anytime. So we add our vegetables now, adding the onions, now the celery, bell pepper, and garlic. At this point, you just want this to simmer on medium-high heat and let those seasonings marry your roux. So we'll leave that alone for a little while.
Okay, you guys, so we'll be back with the next step.
The chicken looks like it's at a good stage to add the other ingredients, the bouillon and the dry shrimp. Your chicken, when it's almost ready, it'll start dividing. The skin will peel back on it. And that's how you know. We use chicken drumsticks because it does not fall apart. And if it does break apart, it breaks off in chunks, opposed to using wings or something like that. That'll just completely fall apart and be stuck at the bottom of your pot. So right now, I'm going to add my chicken bouillon. I use 4 cubes of chicken bouillon. And I kind of like crumble them in my hand. It will dissolve. That's 2.
And why shouldn't we use broth as opposed to using the chicken bouillon cubes?
Chicken bouillon cubes is a more concentrated flavor, and plus when you use chicken broth, it adds more water to your gumbo. And it won't be, it just doesn't have the flavor that chicken bouillon does, basically. So I've added my bouillon, I stir it in. Again, my fire is at a medium high. We use dry shrimp. And when I buy dry shrimp, I like to soak them in water so they can plump back up. These are whole dry shrimps. These are some of the larger ones. I use these simply for the flavor. It gives your gumbo a really, really good flavor. Some people use the water that they soaking in. I don't necessarily do that. So we'll add that and we'll stir that around. They are edible. So now at this point, we can actually add our sausage. The water is at a good temperature. So we add our sausage. This is the Andouille sausage and the Zummo Party Time sausage. Cut up about a 1/2 inch a piece.
And just remember, you guys, if you don't have Zummos in your area, which you may not, you can always use any smoked sausage without any filler, so don't forget about that. And Andouille sausage is found widely.
Holmes. It's by Holmes.
Okay.
It's by Holmes. So, stir the sausage in. We'll let that simmer for a little while longer. Your shrimps are not added until the very end because seafood doesn't take very long to cook. So, we'll let that simmer for a little while. The next thing we'll add is some seasoning. Because we're almost at the end of making a good pot of gumbo.
Hey family, I want to give you just a little tidbit, a little takeaway here while we're still got the gumbo on that fire ready to go. Almost gonna add our shrimp here. Some of you guys watching this video may not be available, may not have roux in a jar. So I'm gonna link some great roux making videos in the description below. when I first made my roux, I actually used one of these examples. So I'm going to list 2 great examples of how to make a roux. It's not that hard to make. It's just a little bit more time consuming. So I'm going to link those in the description box below so you can make it too if you don't have this in your area. And I also want to say that we did have to switch pots. That 8-quart pot that we had was not big enough, so we are in a 16-quart pot. We basically had to switch pots because we hadn't even added all of our ingredients and it was almost overflowing. So I did want to revise that, so you may want to get a larger pot when you make this gumbo. But when we come back, I'm going to show you guys how to add your shrimp, and basically your gumbo's done. So we'll be back in just a minute here.
So now our gumbo is basically almost ready. The only thing left to do is add the shrimp. You want your gumbo to come up to a good simmer when you get this froth on the top. Your chicken is actually ready. That's the only thing that you're really waiting for because everything is basically done. The chicken is starting to fall apart. You guys will look at that. It's coming apart. So yeah, it's ready to add the shrimp. So we'll add the shrimp. Again, we're still at a medium high. There's a lot of contents in this pot and we want it to stay at a good temperature as it cooks. We stir in our shrimp. Your shrimp are really ready when they turn pink. And you'll know that it won't be translucent anymore. They'll be pink. Nice pink color. And they'll curl up. So again, your chicken is basically ready. It's falling apart. So we'll let that simmer for about 10 more minutes, 10, 15 more minutes, and then your gumbo is ready to be served.
Oh wow, forgot you guys were there. This gumbo is really, really good. And I wanted to thank Nanny for making this for us because I didn't even know how to make gumbo myself. So I am excited about this recipe. It's one of the easiest recipes that you probably will see on this channel. Step-by-step instructions. And I did want to say one thing. If you're not a seafood eater, you really don't like seafood, you can omit the shrimp in this recipe and the dried shrimp, and they shouldn't have to modify anything.
And even if they don't want it as spicy, if they're sensitive to spices, they can omit the crushed red pepper flakes also. And the cayenne pepper if they choose.
So basically, you can omit that if you choose to. So I did want to tell you guys something. If you want to see more things like this, leave a comment in the description box below. Give us some ideas. We literally cook everything. Any Cajun food, anything that we like to cook, we probably can show you how to do it. If I can't, I can find somebody who can show you. So make sure you hit the thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you can get notifications every time me and Nita post. And next time, I don't know what I have in store for you next week, but it's probably going to be something good. So thanks for watching Cooking with Michael, and thanks to my aunt for being a special guest here. So next time, we'll see you.